So there I was, just minding my own business, when Jack crawled into my bed and waited for me to open my eyes. When I opened them, Jack leaned in and whispered, "Get me some new food, you incredible woman." Or she might have said, "Get me some new food, you useless heathen." I did as I was told and went shopping for some new bird snacks. We're in the process of moving house, which is an incredibly stressful time for me as a human bird, and stress is contagious. This means that I'm not as present as I need to be for the birds, but life happens, and once I've eaten my guilty feelings, I will be able to provide the birds with a healthier, happier, and stress-free home. Jack always says that Yoshi would just eat shit if it had sugar on it, and he would probably eat it if it didn't have sugar on it. But finding treats for parrots is hard because parrots are notoriously fussy, and more so African greys. The first treat that Jack is going to get her beak around is a gingerbread parrot biscuit. Jack actually says that I remind her of salad fingers, and she finds it really hard to watch me try and open things, so she's always there to lend a helping claw. She took the ginger biscuit and allowed the flavours to rest on her taste buds. And after giving the ginger biscuit the benefit of the doubt, she kindly said, "No more of that, thank you, Lady Mother," and asked if we could move on to the next snack in the box. These are pomegranate donuts, and I was so excited for them because Jack loves pomegranate. Sometimes I walk in on her eating one from the inside out, and the walls are painted red, and then I can't find Yoshi, and there's a split second where I think Yoshi is the pomegranate because Jack just loves it so much that she can't distinguish pommy kernels from Yoshi's innards. Jack took a donut from the pack and went to nibble on the curious little snack, and I started cheering and crying, and I quickly ordered 100 more boxes just to make sure we're covered. After I'd hit submit payment, she said that she didn't actually like the snack. She said that they reminded her of something an archaeologist would dig up, rotten and dead. And she hopes that I don't get a refund because I don't deserve one for offering her such an offensive treat. Next up was the Hawthorn berries, and Jack said they looked like rat droppings, and if she wanted to eat rat droppings, she'd hang out at the bottom of Yoshi's cage. I thought that if she just bit into one, she might change her mind. And she did, because instead of taking the berry, she tried to take my finger. It was, of course, a complete accident. Poor Jack, she's always having these little accidents. She said that she thought the hawthorn berry came on the bone. I told her it's an easy mistake to make for a precious ladybird, and then we moved on. Next up is the star of the show, sesame sticks. Jack can be a little bit devious, and so she'd actually already had a nibble of these sesame sticks and decided that she loved them. Look at that gaping hole of darkness reach for a tasty snack. Isn't she just the most graceful and kind creature to ever walk the earth? After the sesame sticks, I presented her with a ginger biscuit that had been softened through soaking. Jack said it had the consistency of sewer sludge and that she'd sooner become a chicken pot pie than swallow that. She stormed back to her cage, mumbling curses in different languages, which is something she just does when she's happy. I grabbed my rotten soldier and told him it was time for some yum-yums. Yoshi gave the ginger biscuits a really good go, but they were too hard for his weak orphan beak. I tried to smash it into smaller pieces, but it ricocheted and hit me in the eye, and so Yoshi was too upsetty spaghetti to enjoy it and said, "No thanks, Mum."
Check it's safe for me.
After that, we tried the pomegranate donuts, and unfortunately, Yoshi is a few sandwiches short of a picnic, so he got a bit confused and thought it was a new perch. After I convinced him it was edible, he had a little nibble and then said, "No thanks, Mum."
It's okay. Pardon you.
Up next was the hawthorn berries, and Yoshi really liked them.
Right, Charlie, check for me. Good boy. Well done. Yummy, yummy, scrumptious. Let me see. Can I see? Okay, fair enough. I was just joking, baby. I'm not really going to take it from you. You didn't have to go and hide. They're lovely. Yoshi, do it. Good boy. I know it's a scary one.
Yoshi was such a terrified bird when he came to me, and one of the ways that I've managed to be able to pick things up next to him and not have him run off screaming is because I now show him what scares him. So I put it in my beak and I go, "Oh, yes, that's fine, didn't die." And then I offer it to Yoshi and I say, "Yoshi, check for me." And then usually nowadays he's brave enough to take a little pinch in his beak of whatever it is that scares him. They're not laughing at you. Good boy. I then presented Yoshi with the really hard treats, but they had been soaked and he found them much more enjoyable. But because he is a vicious little goblin that Jack tried to warn us about, he went on an unprecedented attack in a fit of rage and bludgeoned my finger with hatred in his beady little coralline eyes.
Ow, that hurted.
I didn't want Jack to miss out on some of the health benefits of the Hawthorn berries, so I made her some Hawthorn and dragon fruit tea with liquid calcium. She was all too happy to help me with things like throwing the dragon fruit across the room and helping to stir the tea. By the way, I told Jack about some of your comments. They included how disgusting it was to have her in the kitchen and how she's all mangled, like she's been half prepared for a Thanksgiving feast and then abandoned because she's too grisly and tastes really angry. Jack asked that you don't deflect your issues onto her. Just because you don't wash your bum feathers before you head over to the kitchen for a good time doesn't mean that she doesn't. And as for the endless, that's why you don't eat at anybody's house, and I wouldn't eat in that kitchen comments. This is just baffling Jack because you were MPI. So we're like, why are they not coming over when they were MPI? And we can't work it out. By the way, MPI means never plucking invited. Only the people who accept my timid little thundersprout making tea and gently carousing the counters like a topless model are allowed over for the tea parties. I went a step further and asked if she would like to try the donuts again, because I think if she tried them then she'd be really surprised. Jack said, "No thank you, Lady Mother. I'll just put these away over here. But I really appreciate the offer and I wish you the best going forward." And then it was time for tea. The Hawthorn tea was an enormous hit. Jack thoroughly enjoyed slurping her berry tea, and all of the anger about the bad snack seemed to just melt away as she smiled into her steamy mushroom cup. Yoshi has hand-me-downs because he's a peasant and Jack is nothing if not generous to the less fortunate, far more hideous creatures that occupy her oxygen space. Unfortunately, Yoshi is easily confused, and so he doesn't actually know how to drink tea, and he instead grabs a handful of wet sludge and usually just flicks it at the walls. Jack says that they're the stains of a bad dream that she can't wake from, and I just think she's so poetic when it comes to getting her words out. I really hope you enjoyed Jack's snack tasting, because I know she didn't. I feel like it's not me, it's the world that's plucked. Take a bird from the savannah just to lock the cage up. You have everything you need, and yet all you share is bars on a prison cell that steals away everything we are. I'm not plucked, you are plucked. We are not a birthday gift. You pull the stone with the Excalibur and now it's stuck like this. Your idea of normal, it never did exist because you didn't do it right when you commoditized it. We are real, we are living, and the pet shops sell our bones. You were never what we chose, but now you're all we know. I'm not plucked, you are plucked, and I'm doing what I can to cope in a world where I don't know who I am. How can you sit there with a smile and tell me that I'm plucked? We take flight in the forest, but our trees and wings are cut. If you want a bird and you think that you know best, then I hope that he or she never pulls apart their chest. But most of all, I plead that if you decide to take something that's not yours and then you watch it break, your love won't be conditional. And you don't think of me as poor, because I'm a plucking atom bomb without a single flaw.